Hola, minasan! Welcome back for another round of One Piece. Last episode, oh man, the last set of chapters, we had a nice conclusion, a little coda. Mr. 3 got beaten, everybody was saved, the day was saved, the Giants survived, they gave an epic send off and cleared the way for Luffy and the gang to go on to the next area, only for Nami to get sick and everyone finds out they have no doctor. So now they gotta look for a doctor because without Nami they can't navigate because nobody knows how to be a better navigator than Nami. So that's the whole situation there. It's gonna be an exciting time because Zolo saw somebody in the distance. Alright, so without any further ado, let's get reading. One Piece by Eiichiro Oda, Chapter 131, Walpole of Tin. The blizzard blasted down onto the merry-go, freezing the entire crew as they struggle every which way they can to stay warm. Solo, looking out through his binoculars, had called attention to everybody. Somebody's standing in the water. That's impossible, Solo, dude, Luffy said. Then, what's that out there? And they all looked out beyond the ocean. What, dude? Where? Usopp said. They both leaned over the banister and squinted their eyes as tightly as possible. And there was a clown, standing in the middle of the whole thing, with with a quiver filled with arrows, and a horn hanging off his back, a cloak with large gloves and goofy shoes. He was standing on the water as the surface splished and splashed over his feet, and the snow having no effect on him, despite the fact that his lips were quivering and his eyes were frightened. Both Luffy and Usopp, shocked by what they saw, rubbed their eyes, believing to be an illusion. But as the merry-go approached closer, it was indeed a human being. Solo grimaced his teeth, ready to go on the defensive. Luffy lowered his brow, trying to figure out what's he looking at. And Usopp was with mouth slightly open, very hesitant to make a move. And the jester just stared out at them and spoke. Boy, sure is cold today, the jester said. Yeah, dude, it sure is. Luffy looked over to Usopp. Haha, it's cold, alright. Early, the jester questioned, as everybody looked in his direction and was wondering what the heck he's talking about. For some odd reason, the merry-go inched even more closer to him. Yep, it inched much more closer to him as they tried to figure out if he's friend or foe. But they don't know. Increase buoyancy! Oh, yeah, sir. Oh, and suddenly there was a loud, a person screamed out. What voice should I give? Increase buoyancy. No, increase buoyancy. Oh, wow, what's going on here? Increase. Oh, is my throat thrown out? Alright, I'll go with British. Increase buoyancy. Aye, aye, sir. And a giant ship emerged from under the sea with a mast. It had the look of the holy hand grenade. It splashed into the air and pushed and giant waves pushed the merry-go back. Ah! Luffy's crew screamed out. What's that, dude? Luffy said, as Usopp tumbled down to the banister. Whoa! Dude, is that a watermelon? And Vivi got out of the... Vivi inside the galley screamed, Why is the ship shaking? She screamed out. Holders. Uh, Sanji screamed aloud. Hold her steady! If anything happens to Nami, I'll throw you overboard! As he held onto the bed to keep Nami from flying all over the place. She struggled in pain from her fever. That can't be. Zolo said outside. A ship? And the ship began to unfurl like an orange peel, revealing the mast. It stretched out and revealing giant lantern and a big flower unfurled. Mast stretched out, and a whole pirate crew stood as the ship towered over the merry-go. There was a laughter coming from the ship. Were you surprised by blinking, my giant submersible attack ship? He screamed out as the flag flapped in the wind with bones, a giant crown, and a metallic skull face. Gosh darn it, a pirate ship? Usopp screamed out. Wow, dude, we don't have time for this. Solo grimaced. Baby, take over here, Sanji said as he hurried up the stairs. Okay, she replied. Sanji stepped out of the galley, screaming out, What's going on? Huh? He froze in place, and he immediately grabbed his match. He lit it up, and he immediately took a puff of the smoke. So, what happened? Dude, that ship attacked us. It was awesome, Luffy replied. As Sanji took another puff of the smoke, as multiple guns and rifles aimed right at him, while Usopp kept his arms raised up in the air and Zolo restrained himself from unleashing his swords, and Luffy just sat all chill as all the guns were aimed much closer to him. I thought it was something like that from the looks of it, Sanji said. Hey, dudes, we're in a hurry, Luffy said. The captain started munching on cooked meat that was skewered in his knife. Full of you, and he took another chomp. Can't be just the full of you, he said, and he took another bite with the whole entire with the whole entire knife, and began to eat into it, meat and knife and all. The Ball of Tin, captain of the Tin Tyrant Pirates, stood before them. He was very round and rotund, dressed in armor that was bound together by string. He had a giant cloak of a bear that was tied around him and covered the top of his head. His face was his chin was that of metal, and he wore fuzzy boots on top of that. As he continued chewing on his meat knife, he continued speaking. Never mind, I've got a question. Who is that guy, dude? He just ate that knife, Luffy said, clenching his teeth in place as the sound of the munching metal irritated Zolo. Yak! Usopp said, with his tongue sticking out. His tongue stuck out. My mouth hurts just watching him. With a big smile on his face, Tin took a bite of the hilt to finish his meal. We want to go to the Jump Kingdom. Do you have an eternal pose or a log pose? No. And we've never heard of that place either, Sanji replied as Tin continued chewing his meal. So, dude, if you're done, go away, Luffy said, crossing his arms. It's not good to rush through life. If you don't have either of those items, we'll take your treasure and your ship instead, Tin smiled. What, dude? Just a moment. I'm still hungry. Let me eat something. And he took a bite. What the? He leaned down and took a bite of the merry-go. He ripped off a piece of wood and started crunching into it. Sanji freaked out. What? And Tin just continued staring at them as he munched and munched until he swallowed it whole. Mmm. Crunch, 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 crunch. What? Usopp freaked out. The heck is that guy? He's eating our ships, dude. No. Tin began eating their rope that was attached to the anchor. An anchor rope. That was very meaty. Yum. Everyone struggled to make a move as the guns were still aimed at their faces. Don't move, you! One of the guards, one of the pirates said, Captain Wapple's eating! Shut up, dude! And Luffy stretched his arm up in the air and aimed it straight down at the pirate, punching him directly in the head, causing his eyes to bulge out. As he collapsed on the ground, Luffy took on a fighting pose and was ready to throw down. Why that dirty? They said, Fire! And Solo smiled as he unsheathed his sword. That's what we should have done from the start. Sanji smiled as he took a puff of his smoke. What? We can fly high! Meanwhile, Usopp started hiding behind the mast. Wait, we could talk this out! As he dodged every single bullet that was fired at him. And the bullets continued firing at each other. As the jester watched on. They're fighting us! And an afro-haired man standing behind the jester smiled. Let's see here. Okay, I'll go with the Russian voice with this one here. Whole new pirate crew. It's cool. Those fools, they're rushing to their deaths. The Afro man said. Vivi inside the galley looked up and with eyes wide open. Gunfire! Guru, watch Nami! She pointed at her duck mount. Quack, he replied. I'll be right back. And she hurried on up outside the galley. Meanwhile, Sanji delivered a spinning kick with his heel, and when he struck the guy, he knocked him out. You're not so tough. Reception. He finished his attack, using his foot to slam the pirate's head face first into the deck. Wah! More of them collapsed down as Solo crossed his swords together and let out an unimpressed smirk. They're all show. Captain Wappo, these guys! The crew screamed out. Meanwhile, Wapple is still munching on, ignoring the whole entire battle. The ship is tasty, yum. Hey, dude, Luffy says he punched and pushed more pirates to the side to get them out of his way. How much are you gonna eat in my boat? Hey, you. Huh? Wapple turned around. As Luffy leaned in with furious anger. And the pirate crew started laughing out loud. Ha 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 ha! You dare challenge Captain Wapple? He'll devour you with the power of the Munch Munch fruit! And Wapple opened his mouth wide, so wide that a bunch of flies flew into his throat. Luffy! Usopp screamed out as Wapple chomped down into Luffy's arm and stretched it out. And Luffy walked back. Oh, wait, Luffy got eaten whole? Oh my gosh, Luffy got bored. Okay. Luffy got bored completely by Wapple, but Luffy was able to stretch his arms out. Was able to stretch his arms out before he was completely swallowed whole. Oh, what's this? Wapple said as Vivi opened the door and knocked out one of the pirates that was standing behind Sanji. Vivi, he said, is Nami all right?
Yes, what's going on?
She said as Luffy's arm stretched across the deck and out into the ocean. And Wapple still continued to continue to munch on Luffy. Was very curious. It's too chewy. Why you? Luffy screamed from within Wapple's mouth, and Vivi was shocked when she saw saw him, and Wapple saw her. Huh? And Luffy's arms launched right back and struck Wapple from inside. Take off! He screamed out, and Wapple flew high into the air. Everyone watched him disappear into the sky like a member of Team Rocket. Captain Wapple, the jester said.
Oh, that man.
Vivi thought to herself. To be continued. One Piece by Eiichiro Oda. One Piece by Eiichiro Oda, chapter 132. See? Luffy had an idea. After their battle with Wapple of Tin and his Tin pirates, Luffy was in the galley with a suggestion. Dude, what if we throw some water on here? Won't that cool her down? And he was met with a kick from Sanji and a punch from Vivi. Are you crazy? Sanji screamed out as Luffy slammed into the wall. Oof, dude. This is bad. The sun's going down, Vivi. He looked at the princess.
I know. We have to drop anchor somewhere,
she said as Luffy completely collapsed on the floor and the picture falls on his head.
Without Nami to navigate,
she said as Nami continued to breathe heavily under the pain of high temperature.
We can't sail at night.
And time was passing by, and she slept as everybody slept all around her. She lifted her body up and looked at everyone. She was surprised that she was not alone, as everybody watched over her. Left her with a light smile, and she immediately ducked underneath the covers, trying to not show her appreciation of her friends. Outside, Sanji sat on the deck with a blanket on, shivering from the chaotic climate of the Grand Line. The moon will be full soon. When daytime came, everybody started working on the damages, repairing the merry-go. Usopp asked a simple question. I wonder who they were. Huh? No. Huh? Sanji said from up atop the mast, the bird's nest. Those guys yesterday, Usopp said. I never heard of this Wapple before, but that ship of his was awesome. Who cares? Forget about them. And Sanji gritted his teeth in anger as he remembered what happened at the end of the fight. Captain Wapple! The gesture and the Afro man were horrified at what they saw. This was terrible, the jester said. Captain Walpole's been hurled into space. What is he, Team Rocket? It's a catastrophe, Afro Man said. Captain Walpole can't swim. Then before he sinks and drowns, we gotta rescue him! He screamed out as all the pirates returned to the ship. Remember us! He pointed out at Luffy and the crew. We'll get you for this. Just you wait. Remember us, comrades. You remember this. Remember us. Remember. That's the shit. And they continued repeating the same thing over and over again as they disappeared into the horizon, and the blizzard completely covered them. Sanji merely took a puff of his cigarette. They're just a bunch of idiots. Nothing to worry about. Never mind them. He looked down at Usopp. The weather's been unusually stable lately. Stable but cold. Yeah, Usopp said as he hammered the nail into the board. It's not even dependably unpredictable here. This sea. And he was interrupted by Vivi.
It's a sign that there's land nearby. Sanji, keep a sharp lookout.
Baby!
We must be approaching a winter island.
A winter island? And suddenly, Usopp slammed the hammer into his finger. Ouch! Vivi continued.
Climatically, the islands of the Grand Line can be divided into 4 types. Summer islands, spring islands, autumn islands, and winter islands. And each of these islands generally has 4 seasons. In other words, when you sail the Grand Line at the very least, you will have to endure 16 seasons, beginning with summer on Summer Island and ending with winter on Winter Island.
We shall make note of this. So each island, as Vivi explained, each island represents a season and has its own set of seasons within. A seasonception, if you will. A season, and has 4 seasons on each. Which makes the whole weather very chaotic.
Of course, there are exceptions to this,
She continued.
as well as unknown weather patterns.
I
see.
Oh.
As well as unknown weather patterns.
Usopp continues hammering the boards. I see. If there are clusters of islands like that, it's no wonder the seas between them are so turbulent.
Exactly. That's why stable weather means there's an island nearby.
You're right, Sanjay said, looking through the binoculars. I see it. An island. And there was a big island in the horizon as they approached it. Luffy smiled with glee in the galley. An island, dude? Nami, isn't this great? An island. You'll be cured soon. Solo was very quiet. And then... Luffy just started shivering and shaking as he waited for a response. Like a little child. Solo took a deep sigh. Go have a look. And Luffy ran up the stairs and out the galley. Wow, dude, it's an island. It's so white. It's snow. It's a snow island. Just remember, Sanji said, we're not here for an adventure this time. We're going to find a doctor for Nami, then we're leaving immediately. Sanji noticed that Luffy did not look back at him. It's no use. He's not listening. Snow's great. Snow's great, dude. Snow's great, dude. Wait, Usopp said. Are you sure it's safe? If there's snow here, couldn't there be a snow monster? Do we even know if there are people there? Oh no, Usopp said. My don't go on the island disease is coming back. Snow's nice, dude. It's nice and white, dude. Prepare to make landfall. They arrived at the island. It was covered in snow, with pine trees and large towers of mountains in the form of cylinders. There was snow on top of that, and it appears to be small mounds towering above the mountains, making the entire boat look even smaller than it should. Luffy shed tears as he clasped his hands with a smile. Wow, dude, this is amazing. Look at those mountains and all that snow. I'm in heaven, dude. And Sanji took a puff of his smoke. And Usopp leaned close to Luffy. Aren't you cold dressed like that?
Yeah, it's only 14 degrees out.
Vivi said.
That's the temperature at which bears get ready to hibernate.
Huh? It's cold? And he started shivering and clutching onto his shoulders, to which Sanji and Usopp screamed together, "You just noticed! Vivi continued as she looked out at the island.
It's a waterfall of melting snow.
She watched as the snow melted and flushed into the river.
I think we could dock our ship here.
Okay. Solo crossed his arms. Who's gonna look for a doctor? I guess we should try to find some kind of settlement. I'll go, dude. Me too. Fine, go. Usopp stepped further back away from Sanji and Luffy as the two raised their fists in the air.
Stop right there, you pirates!
Someone screamed out. Oh, okay. Hey, dude, these people. Look, they look pretty nasty, Luffy. Hmm. Oh, okay, you know what? Aye. Turn your vessel around and leave now. The leader said. Hey, dude, we came here to find a doctor. Vivi continued.
We have a sick person aboard.
And a random guy screamed out.
Don't try your tricks on us, you dirty pirates. This is your country. We'll let no pirates set foot here. Now raise your anchor and go, or we'll blast your ship from the water.
Sanji took a long, deep puff of his smoke. They don't really like us, and we only just met. Solo crossed his arm as Usopp planted his hands on his hip. Ugh, don't go. Don't talk. Go. The lead guy screamed out as he fired a bullet at Sanji, and Sanji dodged the shot at his foot. Woo! They fired on us! Usopp screamed out as Sanji became angered. How dare you! Grr! Grr! The gunman said as he pulled the hammer back, ready for another shot. And just as Sanji was ready to throw down, Vivi jumped at him and pushed him back. Why you?
Wait, Sanji!
And the bullet shot again, striking Vivi, and she fell to the ground. Vivi, dude! Sanji looked down, and the gunman was shocked. Huh? As she laid there, struggling, unmoving, Luffy looked right back at them. You jerks! And all of them raised their guns up. Take aim! Stop! We can't fight them! Usopp said as Zolo prepared to unsheath his swords. And Vivi immediately jumped and grabbed Luffy by the waist.
Don't worry about my wounds, just a scratch!
She screamed. Alright, dude, Luffy said. We won't set foot on your island, but can you send us a doctor? Our navigator's very sick. Please, help us. Oh, sorry, Vivi screamed out.
Alright, we won't set foot on your island, but can you send us a doctor? Our navigator's very sick, please help us.
Vivi did. He looked at Vivi as she bowed before them in a prostrate manner. Blood pouring out of her wound.
Luffy, you're a failure as a captain. Impulsiveness doesn't solve anything,
she said as he lowered his head a bit.
If you get us all killed, what will happen to Nami?
He stood erect and stared out at the gunman as Vivi's wound continued to drip out blood. "You're right, dude. Forgive me. I was wrong," he screamed out, and then he immediately dropped down prostrate. "Please call a doctor. Help my friend, please, dude." Everybody hesitated. A couple of them lowered their weapons a bit. The lead guy just stood there and stared down. As Nami continued to wheeze in pain from the high temperature, Sanji, Usopp, and Zolo took a step back and showed no intent to strike. "Alright, I'll take you to the village," the lead man said. "Come with me." And everybody started walking away as Vivi lifted her head up and smiled.
See, he understands.
"Yeah, dude, you sure are smart." Luffy looked back at her. "But I should warn you. There's only one doctor in this country, and she's a witch." Huh? To be continued. One Piece by Eiichiro Oda. The lead man walking through the snow, guiding Vivi and and the crew as they make their way through the forest of pine trees. He looked over at Vivi and he said, "Ugh, this country has no name."
A country without a name?
Vivi replied.
I've never heard of such a thing.
And Usopp freaked out as his teeth bared the fangs of a shark. "Oh, a bear! Everybody play dead!" And a giant bear with a pickaxe, carrying another bear on its back, just casually walking by with them. "Ugh, that's just a hiking bear." It's not dangerous." "Oh." "It's not dangerous. Don't forget to bow. It's a mountaineer tradition." And everybody bowed at the bear as the bear bowed back. I thought he was carrying somebody. Usopp, meanwhile, laid down and played dead, as the bear casually walked by and bowed respectfully to everybody in return. One Piece by Eiichiro Oda, Chapter 133, Adventure in a Nameless Country. Zolo started twiddling his toes together and stretched them all out as his wound was fully healed. "Good, it's all better. See?" He showed Karu as he started clapping his feet together, smiling. "Correct," Karu replied. "Now I can start training for real. I'm sick of taking it easy. And guarding the ship is getting boring too." He stood out on the deck of the ship as the blizzard blew onto his body and the and he ignored the freezing temperature. He slapped his hands together and concentrated. "I think I'll take a mind-clearing midwinter swim." And he dove into the freezing water, to the shock of Karo. Meanwhile, Luffy and the gang were guided to a mountain village called the Big Village, the snow village of Bighorn. "Ugh, this is our village," the head leader said, as goats walked by and the townspeople were going about their business, and a traveler carrying shipment of crates on top of a gigantic woolly dog-looking thing. The crew was very shocked at what they were looking at. "Dude, those are some strange animals walking around here." "Boy, this really is snow country." Usopp stood in surprise as Sanji called on to Nami's attention. "Nami, we're in a village with people. We made it, a village." The head village guy turned to the people who assisted him and said, "Take it, everyone. Except for those on guard duty, you could all go back to the Rock." "Will you be alright alone, Dalton?" They're pirates. I don't think they mean us any harm. Trust me, I feel it in my gut.
Oh,
Vivi said, realized.
they're not real soldiers?
Nah, they're all civilians. Please, come to my house for now. Huh? Look, Luffy! Usopp said, pointing out, oh snap. Pointing in the direction. It's the hiking bear! Again? And Luffy looked down, saw people bowing to a very tall guy who was very rotund with a very familiar face. Dalton, I heard there were pirates here. Are you alright? Ah, yes, everything's fine. Don't worry. Dalton, I'm looking forward to the election in 2 days. The townsfolk said, waving at him. Everyone says they're voting for you. Oh no, not me. I'm not worthy, he replied back. They arrived at Dalton's house, and he instructed them on what to do. Put her on the bed over there. I'll get the room warmed up. I didn't introduce myself. My name is Dalton. I'm the protector of this island. Please forgive our hostile reception. Captain Dalton, Drum Island civilian guard. He was armored up to the teeth, despite being covered in a cloak, and carried an extraordinarily large sword that was as flat as a spatula. He planted it down against the wall and looked over at Vivi. May I ask you a question?
What is it?
She said. I had the feeling I've seen you somewhere before. Her heart skipped a beat, and she started to speak. And she spoke nervously.
It must be your imagination, but tell us about this witch.
As the flames of the fireplace warmed up the entire house, Dalton looked over at Nami. Her temperature is 107.6 degrees. Her fever's
been rising steadily for 3 days,
Vivi said. If it goes any higher, she'll die.
Yes, but we don't know the cause of her illness or how to treat it.
Look, we just need a doctor, any doctor! Sanji screamed out as he waved his hands up in the air and then stomped his feet. Where's this witch? The witch. You see those mountains out the window? He pointed. He moved the curtains to the side. Whoa! It's big. Beyond the window was a snowman with a cape and a long stick and a bucket for a head. Luffy standing on top of the giant snowman, screamed out, "Dude, it's a super snowman, and it's the snow monster Shirora." Usopp said, riding the giant lizard, and the two gave each other a high five. You guys are gonna get it! Sanji screamed out from within the within the window. Those mountains are the Dramarakias. See the castle at the highest peak? Right now, that's a castle without a king. A castle? Usopp said, taking a sip of warm drink alongside Luffy. Man, this warms you up. And Sanji looked out at the mountains from the window. Yeah, I see it.
What about it?
Vivi looked over at Dalton. The only doctor in this country, Dr. Kureha, whom people call the witch, lives here. What? Why would she want to live way up there? Anyway, call her down here. It's an emergency. And Sanji took a puff of his smoke. I'd like to, but we have no way of contacting her. What? And she calls herself a doctor? What kind of woman is she? Her skills as a doctor are indisputable, but she's rather eccentric. She's nearly 140 years old. What? 140 and she's still kicking? Sanji imagined an old woman with long white hair and a witch's hat. And let's see, she likes pickled plums. What do the people here do when they get sick or injured? Oh, sorry. Vivi said.
Well, what do the people here do when they get sick or injured?
She comes down to the mountain whenever she feels like it. Then she looks for patients, sedates them, takes whatever she wants in compensation, and goes home.
Oh, sounds like a nasty old lady.
Hey, dude. She sounds just like a pirate. A land pirate. We gotta meet some land pirates. Ah.
Luffy, focus. Now, how does a woman that old get down the mountain?
It sounds strange, but I've heard that on moonlit nights, she rides a sleigh to the sky like Santa Claus and comes down the mountain. Some people even claim to have seen it. He imagined her going, flying through the full moon, cackling down in the night. That's why they call her a witch. Others say she comes from with a strange beast unlike anything they've seen before. Oh no! Usopp freaked out and started pounding his feet on the floor. I know it! It's here! See, it's the abominable snowman! After all, this is a snow-covered mountain! I knew he'd be here! A witch and a snow monster! Oh, please don't let me meet up with them! Please! Please! Oh my gosh! She's our only doctor, but we don't like to get involved with her if we can help it. It's best to just to wait here until she comes down the mountain. But, you know, Sanji said, interrupting Vivi. One doctor for an entire country makes no sense. Meanwhile, Luffy towered over Nami and slapped her on the cheek. Hey, Nami, dude, can you hear me? And everyone screamed out, what do you think you're doing? She grimaced, going, ugh. Hey, she's awake, dude. She opened her eyes slowly and looked up at Luffy. Listen, dude, the only doctor around here lives on top of a mountain, so we're gonna climb it because we're righteous. Don't be ridiculous! Sanji interrupted. What are you trying to do to Nami? It's okay. I'll carry her on my back, dude.
That will only make her worse!
Vivi screamed out. How come? The sooner she sees the doctor, the better, right? Dudes?
Well, yes, but it's impossible. Look how tall and steep that peak is.
I can make it, dude. I'm righteous. And I'm feeling righteous right now because Nami needs righteousness.
Oh my gosh, focus, Luffy. Even if you can't, it's too much for Nami.
Indeed, a fall from that mountain wouldn't even kill a healthy person. And if she falls, But if she falls, dude, there's soft snow under her.
Ah, your temperature is 9 degrees higher than normal. Do you realize that?
Nami chuckled a bit. Nami!
I have to get better at it,
She said.
I'm counting on you.
She waved at them with a big smile on her face. Atta girl, Nami. He gives her a high five. Leave everything to me, dude. I've had it with our captain and with our navigator.
Do you realize how sick you are, Nami?
Vivi said. Okay, dude, give me some meat. Meat? Dalton said. Nami, are you sure about this? That climb will take many hours. Fine, then I'm going too, Sanji said. Keep this in mind. Usopp leaned right into Luffy and pointed right at his forehead. If you lose your footing even once, Nami's gonna die. Huh? Even once? She's not a cat. Oh, I thought she was.
Wait, don't move. It has to be tight.
She said, Vivi started tying Nami to Luffy.
That should do it.
She said as Luffy tapped his feet, up and down to make sure he's got a good firm grip on her.
I'll be waiting here. I'd only be burned if I came along.
Me too. Oh no. Oh no, that's Dalton. And Dalton concurred. Me too. Ugh, me too. All right, dudes. Then hang on tight, Nami.
Uh-huh.
she says. She struggled to breathe with the high temperature. If you're serious about this, lad, I won't stop you, but at least start to climb from the other side. There are lapins on this side. They're vicious, flesh-eating rabbits, like the ones in Monty Python. If you encounter a pack of them at sudden death, we do not have the holy hand grenade to help you out with. Rabbits? What the heck are those? We're in a hurry. We can handle them, right? Yeah, I'll kick him! Even though we don't have the holy hand grenade, I have the holy foot grenade! Alright, dude, let's go! Before Nami dies.
Oh, you idiot.
Don't say things like that, it's bad luck, you idiot! Sanji and and Luffy run off at high speed with Nami on his back as they make their way up the mountain to see the witch. I hope they'll be alright.
No need to worry about those two.
Usopp said.
The question is, will Nami's strength hold up? I hope they make it in time.
They watched the trio watched as the two fools carried Nami right into the forest and on their way up the mountain. As the mountain laughed at everybody. Ooh. Dalton opened up the door to his house and looked at Vivi and Usopp. Ugh, what's the matter? Come inside, you two. It's cold out here.
That's all right. I'll stay out here for a while.
Me too, they said as they shivered. Dalton was very quiet. Then he let out a smile. I see. Then I'll keep you company. He sat down on the snow and looked up at the mountain. Long ago, we did have them.
Huh?
Doctors. But circumstances caused them all to leave. He then turned to Usopp and Vivi. Only a few months ago, this country was defeated by pirates.
Huh?
It was?
No wonder everyone was so nervous when we showed up.
Yes. The mere mention of pirates still makes us uneasy, lass. There were only 5 pirates. The captain called himself Blackbeard. They were immensely powerful. We never had a chance. They defeated us before we knew what hit us, he said as he remembered 5 pirates standing, towering before them.
5 pirates? You must be kidding.
Blackbeard? Aye, but some around here think it was a blessing.
Well, what good? What can be good about a country being defeated?
Yeah, who'd say anything so idiotic? Until then, this land was ruled by a king. Dalton looked down at the snow, and the people were very unhappy. This land was called the Drum Kingdom, and the king's name was Wapol. He was the worst king ever.
Wapol!
Vivi screamed out as her eyes lit up.
I remember now.
Wapol? Usopp suddenly remembered the pirate that was eating away at the ship. To be continued. One Piece by Eiichiro Oda. One Piece by Eiichiro Oda, chapter 134. Dr. Kureha. Captain Dalton was shocked when he saw the reaction of Vivi and Usopp. What? You know Wapol? Do we ever? That's the pirate that attacked our ship. But I chased him off because I'm really brave. Actually, I remember him saying something about the Drum Kingdom.
Yes,
Vivi said.
I remember him clearly now. When I was a child, my father took me to a meeting of kings, and I met him there.
A meeting of kings? Just who?
Oh no, anyway, I met this Wapol.
Vivi said, immediately changing the subject.
It was yesterday on our way here.
Is that so? Dalton nodded.
What's going on here?
Vivi asked.
This country was defeated, but the king's not only alive, he's turned pirate?
The pirate part is a cover. Wapol's scouring the seas in search of this island.
Those men on the ship are soldiers that the pirates defeated and drove off the island?
Defeated? That's a laugh, lass. When the pirates arrived, Walpole's army didn't even attempt to fight. They cowered before them. They had no honor.
Huh?
Believe it or not, Dalton grimaced as he lowered his head and vein bulged out of his forehead. When they saw the pirates' strength, They abandoned the nation to its fate. They fled like rats from a sinking ship. Walpole escaped to the sea. And the country lost hope that their own king would.
How could a king do such a thing?
She interrupted, her eyes fierce and bloodshot with furious anger. And all Usopp could say was, Phoebe.
It's despicable for a king to abandon his people.
She clapped her hands in frustration. And Dalton nodded his head. And Dalton nodded. Ah, you're right. But now Walpole's evil reign is over. This island belongs to those of us who remain. The towns and villages are beginning to recover. Right now we're united and trying to build a new nation. Which is why we feared Walpole's return more than anything. Until we're able to rebuild our country. The restoration of the monarchy is the thing we to be feared the most. He said as the blizzard kicked up and started to white out the castle in the sky. We want to build a new peaceful nation, Vive. Meanwhile, the blizzard laughed at Luffy and Sanji. Ooh. The duo with Nami and Toe had their feet completely buried in the snow as they struggled to work their way through the blizzard, through the blinding blizzard. Dude, it's getting colder, Luffy said. The wind's picking up. Why aren't you wearing socks? What's with the slippers? They're chocolates, dude. Just looking at it makes my feet hurt. Dude, it's my police. Police? You mean policy? Learn, get a dictionary for once. They continued arguing as they approached as a critter was busy munching on something. Yeah, that. By the way, did you know that people live in snow countries don't sleep? Huh? Why not? Sanji replied. Well, if they fall asleep, they'll die, dude. That's ridiculous. Everybody has to sleep. And suddenly it was a rabbit with fangs as sharp as a shark going, Grah! It's true, dude. I heard it a long time ago from someone. Luffy Luffy said as the rabbit lunged at them, and neither of them realized they were under attack. Did Usopp tell you that? And the rabbit landed in the snow. Nope, dude. I heard it in a village tavern. The rabbit once again attacked as Sanji and Luffy increased their running speed. Grah! The rabbit screamed out. Then why did Dalton have a bed in his house? Sanji asked as the rabbit chomped into the tree as the duo continued running. Oh, dude, you're right. That must be his deathbed. You idiot! Suddenly, the rabbit chomped away at the tree and caused it to fall over, and it missed them by a mile. Then did you know this? Sanji said as he continued running. Snow country women have silky smooth skin. How come, dude? Isn't it obvious? The rabbit was frustrated as a sweat drop hung off the side of its head and started jumping all over the place, trying to chomp at them as they continued to just run like it was nothing, ignoring the little critter. When it's cold, you rub your skin like this, right? Sanji demonstrated. That makes it soft and smooth. Smooth, translucent white skin. That's no country woman for you. Dude, I wonder what makes it white. And the rabbit completely fell into the snow and jumped out with a loud scream. Grah! And continued chomping at their feet as the two of them continued to run. The color of the snow gets absorbed into the skin naturally. Sanji smiled with hearts floating out of his head. Grrr! The rabbit screamed out as it missed again. Dude, you know, dude, I never knew you were so stupid. You're calling me stupid? Anyway, I'm getting tired of this. And Sanji kicked the rabbit into the forest ahead, disappearing in the whiteout of the snow blizzard. What was that thing anyway, dude? Just hang on, Nami. We're gonna get you to a doctor. The blizzard increased The blizzard increased and intensified, the wind blowing into their faces and turning their cheeks red. Dude, it's really snowing hard up here. Luffy, try to step more lightly. You're jostling Nami. Huh? And there they stood before giant rabbits, the little one pointing at them, chattering away, and tattling on them. The tallest one, with this scar across its eye, stared at them as the blizzard laughed at the duo. Ooh, what are they? Sanji asked. They're big and white, so they must be polar bears. Yeah, dude. Righteous polar bears. Meanwhile, back at the village.
I wonder if they're alright.
I hope they didn't encounter any lapins.
And if they're carnivorous, they're still just rabbits, right?
Aye. Rabbits as big as bears with the quickness of rabbits that attack in packs.
What? Bears? Oh,
Vivi said.
I hope they'll be alright. Are they really that big?
Dalton, the tall round guy said as he smiled. I hear you're looking for the doctor. That's right. But they just took the patient. But the witch is over in the next town right now. What? And everyone and everyone stood in shock as Usopp's jaw dropped and flies entered into his mouth and down his throat. Meanwhile, back out in the ocean, on the ship. Oh, Captain Walpole! Oh, Captain Walpole! The jester screamed out from the mast. Here we go. What is it, Jess? Walpole screamed out. Do you see the ship? No, Mr. Walpole, Jess said. But we finally come home. What? How many long, hard months has it been? That's our homeland. It's Drum Island. Are you sure? They said as they saw Drum Island in the distant horizon. Meanwhile, in the neighboring town of Coqui, nice name. Someone screamed out. Hey, shopkeeper, give me a break. Shut that kid up. I can't take it. I'm sorry. That's wrong time out. Where does it hurt? The kid cried as the shopkeeper crouched before the child and tried to figure out what was happening. If you keep crying, I can't understand you, and you're bothering the customers. Wah! The kid screamed out. Tama, what's wrong? If you don't stop crying, I'll lock you outside. Wah! Uh-oh. Let's see. Because I believe this is supposed to be the doctor. Okay, you know what? I'll go with this here. Here we are.
Oh dear, did you hear that, Chopper?
She said to the sound of clacking as the hooves carted the sled through town.
A child that won't stop crying has something wrong with his body. We've got a bad father here,
she said as she walked alongside a giant deer wearing a hat and a vest with a saddle pulling on the sled.
This is the shop. Stand back, everybody.
And she walked right on up and delivered a big punch.
I'm coming in.
The door broke into pieces. Oh my gosh.
Where's this sick child?
An old, very old 140-year-old woman stood before everybody with the biggest Joker grin imaginable. Wow. Wow. um. I should have gone with Joker voice. Oh man. Dr. Kureha started cackling. And she lifted up her sunglasses as she struck a pose before everybody. Dr. Kureha, master physician, 139 years old. Dr. Kureha! Next to Tony Chopper. Dr. Kureha's beloved reindeer. Oh, it's a reindeer. Okay. I said a goat, didn't I? Well, it's a goat.
The secret of my youthful appearance?
She screamed out. No, I didn't ask that. The crowd screamed out as they were shivering in fear and sweat falling down. She stood before them dressed in a crop top shirt with a jacket and long pants, bell-bottom pants, and a belt that kept it all in place, and a navel with a navel ring on her belly button. I can't believe that old Biddy is really 140 years old.
I'm only 139 years old.
She pointed out at the man, and he freaked out.
Shall I cure him?
Huh? Cure him of what?
This child isn't sick. Are you the doctor?
She said. She grinned at him, and the man freaked out.
Let's go, Chopper.
Hey, wait! She said. He reached out to her as he watched her walk away with Chopper, away from the guy. Moments later, the kid was laid on the table with a pillow under his head. The doctor planted a giant briefcase at the kid's feet and looked over him as Chopper continued to lap up the water that was meant for the child.
My arm hurts.
The kid cried out.
Your arm, eh? Okay. How was it this?
She immediately pressed into his leg.
Ah, now my leg hurts. You see, you forgot all about the pain in your arm, didn't you?
What are you doing? The man said as the child screamed in pain.
Ah! All right. Are you the sick? All right, you stay still. I barely touch your leg. Your arms and legs are tender.
She pulled up the jeans from the boot area and looked at the leg.
You don't have a fever, but there's swelling in the affected area, festering inflammation. You have bacteria in your bones.
She looked at it.
Chopper, get the antibiotic.
And Chopper nodded and clapped his way to get the thing.
Doctor, my child,
the father said.
This disease has to be caught early or there's no hope of survival. Don't worry, he's going to be fine, but he would have died for sure.
Huh? He would have died? The father freaked out as the doctor smiled grinningly and twirled the scalpel.
Okay, I'm going to make a small incision now. Ah!
Hey, can't you at least give him a painkiller? The father screamed out. And then, oh my gosh, the doctor lifted up the child as he screamed in pain.
Ah! Okay, now for the injection. Get ready.
Don't be so rough, the father screamed out as she held the baby up. Held the kid up with Chopper's help, and then planted him back down as he lay there, struggling with the pain.
There, all done. My medicine is very effective. Just keep the leg bandaged for a while.
Oh! The father looked in shock as he saw his son just heaving and breathing from the pain.
If it gets stiff, put ice on it, understand? And for the payment, let me see.
She looked around, and went, as she closed up the briefcase.
I'm running low on garbage bags and toilet paper. And I'll take whatever food you have. Oh, and I'll take half of the shop's assets. Chopper, load the sleigh.
And Chopper nodded, and it just click-clacked away.
What? I can't give you half my assets,
The shopkeeper said. Don't fall for that! The patron screamed out. She's cheating you! Almost died. What a laugh. He was just crying because he fell down. She only pretended to cure him. And the crowd began to gather around with angered eyes and ready to strike.
Isn't that right? Well,
One of the patrons pointed out at her, and she just stood there frozen with hand on her hip and her right hand clutched onto the onto the bag. You take advantage of people's weaknesses, another yelled out.
you senile woman.
The crowd was ready to strike, but Chopper lowered his head and looked out at everybody. Fiend.
Chopper, down boy. They're just prattling children.
And Chopper calmed down.
Grandma.
The kid said, and with a big smile on his face, looked up at her.
It feels much better, thank you.
The father was shocked. He took a step back, aghast that his son was happy, despite the everything that happened. The old witch said, and looked back at him.
What a sweet tip. I'll only take 49% now.
I'll pay you. Thank you, the father screamed out.
Oh, the goody. What I did just now,
She said as she put on her sunglasses.
Don't ever forget it.
And she left with Chopper following her. To be continued. One Piece by Eiichiro Oda. One Piece by Eiichiro Oda, chapter 135, Lapins. A bunch of ramps was pulling the sleigh across the snow, making its way up to where Luffy and Sanji are. It was they were fighting against the blizzard as they navigated through the whole entire forest. Ugh, forgive me, Dalton said. I made a mistake. I got word that the doctor had to come down from the mountain yesterday, so I didn't think she'd come again so soon. But I was wrong. He slapped the slacks to make the goats move run faster.
It's okay.
Usopp leaned close to him.
It wasn't your fault. Those two took off in such a hurry, it's not going to be easy to catch up with them. And if the doctor is here in Cocoa Weed, we'll just have to ask her to return to her castle. Let's hope she'll do it.
Phoebe looked back as Dalton lowered his head a bit. Ugh, I'm sorry.
Huh?
If only this country had more doctors.
There's no need to apologize, Dalton.
Vivi assured him as he made the turn at the signpost pointing to Cocoa Weed.
Let's hurry!
She screamed out as Dalton slapped the slacks again, making the goats run much faster. Meanwhile, back at the mountain, the Lapids jumped up in the air, and Sanji screamed out, "It's flying!" Its claws stretched out further than usual, and the Lapids swung at them. Luffy and Sanji sidestepped as the strike made the sound of a wham, and the snow plunged up into the air, and like a splash of water. Wow, dude! I can't believe it! Did you see that move? It must be some kind of shonen protagonist. Is it some kind of gorilla? No, dude, they're polar bears. No, they're rabbits, you idiot! Sanji screamed out at Luffy. But you just said they were gorillas. They must be Lapins we've heard about. Those things Dalton said. Crap, dude. There's a lot of them. and they both stared out at the tall tree height rabbits standing on their hind legs with their claws stretched out, all ready to attack them. Led by the scarred Lapin, staring down at the two of them. Those things are well adapted to snow country. If they can move around like that, we're at a big disadvantage. Sanji stretched out at Luffy. Listen, don't try to fight them. Why not, dude? If you mix it up with them, every blow you take or give will be felt by Nami. He took a long puff of his smoke as Nami continued to wheeze and cough on Luffy's back. She'll die! I'm serious! And the Lapid screamed out, Grah! I got it, dude. I won't fight. But I can duck. And duck he did as the rabbit swung at them and missed. Grah! The giant Lapid screamed out. But what am I supposed to do, dude? Just dodge! Remember you're training with Piccolo. Dodge him and run. And don't fight! That's gonna be hard, dude. I flunked Piccolo's school of dodging. Fluncho! Sanji said as he wound up his kick. Flayer! And delivered a blow right into Lapin's gut. And sent it flying back to the others. Crap! I can't even do a decent kick with all this snow around my feet. I have no balance. And the Lapids look up right at Sanji to the sound of the laughing wind. Ooh. And they all launched themselves up in the air, ready to belly flop on top of them and crush them underneath their soft, warm fur. They're coming all at once! I'll cover you, Luffy! Sanji pushed the captain and Nami into the forest. Run for the woods! And as they started running and dodging all the trees, the Lapids began bashing into the wood, knocking them all down. We have to try to shake him! It'd be dark before I could beat up so many. Darn, dude. And just when things were getting good. Grrr! The Lapid screamed out, knocking down a tree. Dude. Luffy noticed as he got blocked out. And Sanji reached over and grabbed Luffy's foot. No! Nami, unaware of the whole thing, grimaced in pain. Idiot! I told you to let me handle him! Sorry, dude. This is serious! Oh, I just realized Luffy was winding up a kick. Okay, now I see what happened. Okay, yeah, Luffy winded up a kick and Sanji blocked him from swinging, which caused Nami to feel pain. They continued on running as Sanji delivered another kick to a Lapid as Luffy held on to Nami as tight as he can. Look, Sanji, dude, we could get up that way. He looked up at the cliffside. Okay, you go ahead. And Luffy jumped up with Nami. Not so much jumped up. He ran up the rabbit's body, kicked it in the face, using it as a launch pad to jump into the air. And Sanji did the same with the other Lapid, and they both landed on the cliff. However, the Lapids were able to jump even higher and reach the top of the cliff and continued their chase. Here they come! Just run all the way to the top! Meanwhile, back out at sea, the boat arrived carrying Wapol and his pirates. Well, we're here, my dear Drum Kingdom. Wapol said as a guardsman collapsed on the ground with blood splurting out of his mouth. Many of them laid out, civilians and soldiers alike, as Wapol rode a giant. Oh, that's a hippo, woolly hippo. A woolly hippo as Chess and Afro Man continued taking down everybody that stood in their way. These guards were too slow, Wapol said. What were they thinking? Shooting at us? And, unchanging, ever beautiful nature. Um, unchanging, ever beautiful nature. Wapol soaked in the sight of his kingdom. Just, is my castle intact? It hasn't changed, Your Majesty, Wapol said, looking through the binoculars as the blinding snow, as they looked out at the mountaintop. Then onto my castle, my dear castle. I'm no longer a pirate. I'm a king once again. Ha 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 ha. Onward, Robson, he said as, oh, I was right. It was a woolly hippo. I said woolly. I guessed it as a woolly hippo. Robson White Walkie, alias Woolly Hippo, snorted, and Wapol patted on his fur. There, are you still upset because I killed your brothers? Well, stop moping. This is a glorious occasion. Grunt. The Woolly Hippo grimaced. Yes, Willie. He listened on to the king as he slowly walked on with sadness, and out of fear he nodded. King Wapol, I have news. What is it? Wapol looked out at the guard. It's the ship of those pirates we met yesterday, over there on the riverbank. What? Those straw hats are in my kingdom? Wapol gritted his teeth, and a vein bulged out of the side of his temple. I won't forget what they did to me, how I suffered. Kill them all! He screamed out. But there's no one on board. We don't know where they are. Bertha's fools. Chess crossed his arms. Oh, that's his name? Oh my gosh, will I be able to pronounce that? Upon inspection of the footprints leading from the ship, we believe they headed for Bighorn. Chess, former Drum Kingdom Evil Chief of Staff, and Kuromarimo, former Drum Kingdom Evil Magistrate, stood ready to serve their king once more to deal with Luffy and the Straw Hat Pirates. Oh my gosh, Kuromarimo. Kudo Marimo, huh? That's pretty crazy. Let me see here. Kudo Mari. Dang it, got no room here. Kudo Marimo. Make like a high, make a hiney ho. There we go. That's what his name will be. Nah, just kidding. They stood ready, at the ready. So do you two think you're geniuses? Then let's go to Bighorn. Wapol said as he snorted out cold frost from his mouth. And fire a salute to mark the restoration of Drum Kingdom, he screamed out. Back at Coqui. Huh? Back at Coqui, everyone, Dalton, Usopp, and Vivio arrived and asked questions, and they received their answer. Huh? She left town? He said. No way, we just missed her?
Yeah.
The little kid, Thomas, said to Usopp.
She made me a better a little while ago.
Are you looking for the Dr. Dalton? The shopkeeper said. It's an emergency. Do you know which way she went? And one of the patrons answered. I heard someone say she was heading for Gyasta. Ugh, Gyasta. Where's that? It's a lakeside town just north of here. They like this ice skate there.
Great, let's go. We've come this far. There's no time to waste.
And just as they were ready to leave, a guard popped, opened the door wide open. Dawn! It's Dawn here! Ugh, what's wrong? You're supposed to be on guard. All the other guards are dead! He screamed out as everybody murmured as to what was going on.
A submersible ship suddenly appeared out of the sea and its crew killed everybody. Don, please save us. We need your strength.
Calm down. Slod, who killed them?
Whirlpool, he's back!
And speed lines struck everyone in the back of the head as they stood in horror and screamed out, "Whirlpool!" "Ah, where is he now?" Dalton said.
The village, Bighorn's in danger. Darling!
"Ah, I'll settle this myself." He hopped on the horse and rode through the and rode right back to Bighorn, determined to take on the king. "Justice," he said as he slowly, his face stretched out, "is not what I'm after." And he turned into a bull. "Ugh, you and I are guilty of the same sin." And the masked bull, known as Dalton, captain of Bighorn, of the Bighorn Guard, thundered along to Bighorn. "Just you wait, Walpole." To be continued. One Piece by Eiichiro Oda. That was interesting. That was a nice finish. And we got snow. So on the outset, we had another world rule established. I believe this was here. Let's see here. Oh, no. That was established in chapter 132 because we started off this set of chapters meeting Wapple and these crazy pirates that somehow are able to walk on water like Jesus. It's pretty freakish when you think about it, when you see a character just standing on there and just walking on water. I mean, dang. Of course, I could have thrown in a Jesus joke, but you know what? Low-hanging fruit. The pirates were very easy to dispatch, so it didn't really last long. I got thrown off on the next chapter because it was just such a sudden end. Everybody's on their way to the next island. They're caught in the middle of a winter. They meet up with Wapple of Tin, the Tin Tyrant Pirates. He's the captain. He eats. He's got a gum gum ability. I think it was called Gum Gum Munch. They said, and he was looking to go back to the Drum Kingdom. Let's see here. What was it called? The Gum Gum. What was the name of the Gum Gum fruit? Let's see. I'm looking for it. But basically, yeah, the Munch Munch fruit. It's called the Munch Munch fruit, and he could just pretty much eat anything without getting hurt or having a bad stomach or anything. Metal, wood, name it. But just like all gum gum eaters, all devil fruit eaters, he can't swim. So, yeah, he managed to eat Luffy whole. He struggled to eat him because, Luffy's gummy. He's a gum gum fruit. And Luffy was able to send him out into the sky. This didn't take long to deal with, but I gotta say, you want to freak people out, this is the way to do it. Just look how he munches in. His whole entire lips completely overlaid the things like, say just overlaid the whole thing. Like, that's a great depiction. And then, again, doing a nice animated motion, having that feeling of animation. The next panel rips off the whole thing. Very, very detailed with the splinters and everything. Just watching them just crunching away. Like, he just didn't care or anything. But it was an easy dispatch, Luffy just was tired of his ship getting eaten, and he just takes him out and everything. It didn't take long, and everybody had to go and rescue Wapple, which is pretty cool. Gave him a Team Rocket send off. Gave him a little Team Rocket send off here, which is hilarious. Team Rocket, you can see the little star in the sky. Pretty typical for standard stuff for manga and anime storytelling. Send them off blasting away. Oh man, but that leads us to the next chapter. So it was nice, short, sweet, to the point. I like it. I like how it was introduced. Another gum gum. Are all the pirates gum gums? You know, I mean, no, not all of them, but it's like so many pirates are gum gums. They all eat the double fruits. It's pretty crazy. But we open. But what threw me off was that it opens up here with Luffy, basically, given an idea, and we didn't exactly get the context of what happened afterwards, like how did they escape and everything. But we have a nice little tender moment where Nami, you know, looked out at the crew. They're all there for her. You know what I'm saying? And she let out a smile. And of course, she buried her face. She buried her face in embarrassment. You know, she really, she came a long way from what had happened to her, and seeing that she's got wonderful friends like this. You know what I'm saying? Especially for a pirate crew, is a pretty big deal. For her, and it's great to see that these type of little characterizations, it's the little things, you know what I'm saying, really makes the characters tight, tightly written, tightly characterized, you know what I mean. You start to you know what I'm saying, you get to root for them, there's not a single character so far that I among the crew that I don't dislike. You know what I'm saying? I have no dislike whatsoever. I like all I like each and every one of them because they're so well written, they're so fun, they have great backstories, and even now they still maintain growth. And this is big growth for Nami because think of how she was in the beginning, how she thought of them, not just pirates in general, but particularly Luffy and this group of guys here, and how she felt about them, and we see what she really feels about them right here. This is her true feelings. She cares about them. As annoying as they can be, as outrageous they can be, she really has a heart for them, like family. Fast and the Furious, Dom. She's like, Dom, this is family, kind of thing. I believe it was here, yes, right here, that we get our next world build, in the world of One Piece, and that is the fact that that the islands are have a very very specific season, but they also go through the seasons. So let's see here. Vivi says that the islands of the Grand Line can be divided up into 4 types. So there's 4 types of islands based on the 4 seasons: summer, spring, autumn, and winter. But they all have 4 seasons in them. And so basically, what that means is, you begin with summer on Summer Island and with winter on Winter Island. If you endure the 16 seasons, so you're going through 16 seasons. So basically, what it is, what she explains is that. When you're out in the open sea, you're gonna go through all 4 seasons chaotically because you're in the middle of them. You're in between these islands. So, for example, if you're riding your boat between Winter Island and Autumn Island, that open sea between those 2 islands, you go through the 4 seasons. But then once you get close to one of those islands, then the seasons calm down, and it's centered on one season. In this, if I'm understanding this correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments section, because because they arrived at Winter Island, it settled down on winter, I guess. No, I think I'm misunderstanding that. I'm probably misunderstanding that. I hope somebody will clarify that. Because it's not complicated. It's very easy. But I think I'm overthinking it. The end result. But the point is, and it's made very clear. Yeah. See, when there's stable weather, there's an island nearby. What that is, we don't know. But the point is that when you're between the islands in the open sea, you get the 4 seasons going. The whole weather goes chaotic until it stabilizes. When it stabilizes, you're near an island. Where it is, you don't know. You still need a navigator. Hence why they need Nami. So that's the world build. More expansion of the world build, and that's actually fantastic, really, because that means that that means that the seas are 100% treacherous. It just really lets the Grand Line be such a dangerous place, and shows why so many pirates in East Blue struggle to do the whole thing. They always come back with lost crew and such. Um, great world built. I like that. That's a great concept. That's a great concept actualized. And so they arrive at a winter island that has no name, and yeah, they were met with with hostilities because they're scared out of their minds because they don't want to deal with pirates, and of course Vivi gets shot, which is a pretty frightening thing to see on the screen here, seeing the screen here with her getting shot like that. But yeah, Luffy was ready to go gung ho, and once again we get another layer of character growth, where Vivi had to stop him. Saying so she's alive, but she had to stop him because he was about to really, really go gung ho and not considering the situation whatsoever, the danger, the bigger picture, if you will. And this was a great lesson because this is coming from a princess who is also learning how not to be who learned not to be impulsive and such given her situation when she was with Igarapoi before he got blown to bits. But you can see it here in his expression. She's prostate. She's telling him that she called him out. You're a failure of a captain. You know what I'm saying? You're not doing a good job here. And he sees that she took a bullet. You know what I'm saying? She took a bullet, and he's like, he owned up to it. He owned up to it and begged for forgiveness. And just like Vivi, he prostrate. Great character development. You know what I'm saying? He's got to learn how to be a good captain. And part of that is not just reacting so quickly to situations and scenarios. And that was a great moment. Very, very nice, quiet moment there to have. And look at what happened. They ended up making friends and allies because the captain's instincts, Captain Dalton's instincts, told them that yeah, they're not here to be hostile. But the expansive of the world here, I love the fact that this bear this bear is just walking with with a nice pig casually, and everybody the hiking bear as he's called, and everybody just bows and the bear bows back. It's the little things really makes the life of the world seem so complete. It's alive, it makes the world feel very alive. That's something I gotta try and see if I could pull off with my story, my current novel that I'm writing. That's something I should really take that into consideration to make the world feel alive by having creatures do weird little things like that. You get these weird little moments like that. That's a good thing to take note. Saying you want that liveliness going on. So yeah, Zolo's watching the boat this time. Now he's the one watching the boat, and he decides to go out for a swim after his leg fully healed. Great pacing of continuity, saying because he did injure his leg and he still had the wounds for it, but now he's able to move again. So he's getting more and more scars every day. I could tell you that much. But that's great. By Oda's part, saying as a writer, saying keep on top of the little things, even the little things, because technically speaking, having a cut leg like that, a lot of things could happen with a cut leg, but most importantly, his mobility. So seeing that, he's fully healed and we're not left questioning, oh, did he fully heal? Or we don't have to presume, saying that was a nice little thing to show that was accomplished and he was able to move on. I thought for a moment there, this guy was Wapple because of the way he was designed here. So I thought, oh, he's already infiltrated, but no, that's not the case here. So yeah, so it's fine. I'm pretty much giving everyone here random voices. Well, Scottish, multiple. Anyway, the voices is fine. It's fine. He can have the British voice along with Wapple. I'm saying? It's possible. Don't be too much of a stickler. But Captain Dalton, pretty much, told him again, the landscaping, the scaling of the giant mountains here with the castle on top. That's where the Dr. Kureha is at, which people call the witch. She's the only doctor, and this island used to be full of doctors, but then everything went south. As we find out that, yeah, um, Wapple was the king, uh, was the king, and he and caused a lot of chaos, and many doctors were disappearing as well. They were all just leaving, but yeah, Luffy decided to go up the mountain and take Nami with her. Nami agreed, of course, which is pretty interesting. You know, nice little moment here with these two. You know what I mean? That's how much she cares. She trusts, which is pretty cool. So they had to. So they're tasked to go into the other side of the mountain, avoid these flesh-eating rabbits known as lapins. Um, Without a holy hand grenade, there should always be a holy hand grenade when killer rabbits are involved. Always. Some type of holy hand grenade, something that's holy. You can't allow that to happen. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Sanji and Luffy run off into the mountains, only to find out. Only to find out. Well, you know what? This is actually very interesting because this is the second time this is happening here. I just noticed. Vivi and Usopp, along with Nami, but this happened in the last arc with the giants. It's these two again that are actually, was it these two? Yeah, it was these two, right? It was these two that had the conversation and got the backstory. You know, they got the exposition. Are these two designed for exposition? Just a little question there. Just a little question there because I feel like this is the second time Vivi and Usopp are getting exposition from somebody, and we're finding out that that the country was beaten by pirates. Wapple ran off, took his guards. They just cowardly left everyone to devastation and everything. Yeah, so basically everything is coming together. Very interesting. It's a very nice writing approach that's going on here. But yeah, they continue on. Vivi was angry as a princess, feeling that King was cowardly for doing that. You know, taking the soldiers and running off, making the soldiers pirates. He didn't even fight once. He didn't even fight once, and she was really angry. And let me tell you something: the expression on her face, that's amazing. I've never seen eyes drawn like that in One Piece. You know what I'm saying? It's very frightening, very crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's just amazing. Amazing. Seriously, like look at the eyes. I've never seen the eyes look like a bullseye for an archery before. And it's and well, it's justified, but yeah, the expressiveness of the eyes can get very tight. Because look at Dalton's eyes, and then look at Usopp's eyes, and you could really read the expressions very smoothly in this whole sequence here. It's very good, very well done, nicely executed. You know, and we get a comedic moment with these two morons, Sanji and Usopp, as they walk around, just having a casual conversation while dodging the rabbit. And eventually, the little rabbit gets kicked by Sanji, and they end up facing off against giant rabbits again. We need the holy hand grenade. But that was hilarious. Nice little fun joke. You know what I'm saying? With the casual conversation and everything. And they're now about to deal with the whole thing. They found out that the doctor returned from the mountain because normally the doctor just stays up in the mountain, but Dr. Kureha came back to the mountain, is in another town, so they have a chance to get her, so to help Nami. But yeah, the Wapple finally found Drum Island, and he's happy to be home. Meanwhile, we get introduced to two characters this time. Tony Chopper and Kureha, Master Physician. A giant deer, and yeah. a 139-year-old woman trying to relive her teen years. She's very. She's. I should have given her the Joker voice, but that's all right. She's basically a crazy doctor that can legitimately heal with unorthodox methods, but in exchange she really price gouges everybody. But yeah, her methods of healing is insane, and using Chopper to take care of the kid and everything is pretty insane. But ultimately, that's her style. It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. Pretty funny moment. Very chaotic, actually. There was so many bubbles here. Quite honestly, this is way too many bubbles, actually, in such small panels. I don't know if that's a good thing, but at least at least the panels didn't overpower the faces. Like Oda did a great job here, where she's pulling back and looking at the legs, the kid's legs. The speech bubbles didn't overpower that. You know, saying just gave just enough room for us to really see the scene and get a good gauge. But it's pretty chaotic. It's pretty chaotic ultimately, and pretty much in our last chapter, everybody's now in a race. Saying you got Dalton trying to get to Dr. Kureha. You got Luffy and Sanji now trying to survive the Lapins, which is pretty intense because they can jump. They could jump very high given how heavy they are, and that's pretty scary. And so pretty much it's all now just a race against time because Wapol is now docking and is about to wreak havoc. Man, this is crazy. Drawing all these rabbits like that. And again, the expression of the rabbits, so cool. Look at their faces in that panel. But yeah, Sanji and Luffy trying to be careful not to hurt Nami any further. Wapol arrives, kills off everybody, and we got the again, always making characters out of creatures. Robson, the White Walkie, who lost his brothers to Wapol, the poor thing. And cute. Look how cute it is. That's such a cute thing. The animal designs are just so wonderful. Very, very wonderful, very distinct, and pretty cool. And we finally get the names of the two, Chess and Kuro Marimo. Too many. Yeah, a little late to the party, but it's alright. Better late than never. But yeah, we find out there's something more to this island. Because Dalton ends up turning into a bull as he charges for Wapol to deal with Wapol. It really threw me off. I didn't see this coming. Is the entire island like this? They're all rare creatures, were beasts. This is a were bull. That's pretty interesting. I wonder if all of them are like that. That'd be cool. So yeah, that was So yeah, overall, very nicely paced, paced. Jumping scenes to scenes. Didn't get overrun. The speech bubbles were a little overpowering this go around. But we got a good variety of characters. The snow really nicely adds an element of scenery immersion and interaction with the characters and such. Pretty good. Pretty good. I'm very excited to see what's up with with Dalton turning into a bull. Are there other word beasts? I can't wait to see that. So comment, like, subscribe, follow. You know you want to. And head on over to Amazon.com and grab yourself a copy of The Impossible Man, a strange fantasy novel written by me. You'll find the links to the book in the description below, along with links to other merch such as stickers, t-shirts, pins and music, much more. Please enjoy the merch. Thank you for your patronage. And if you're interested, you can join me on my live multi-stream on Twitch and Kick, Monday through Thursdays, 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I look forward to hanging out with you live. So, until the next set of chapters of One Piece, thank you all for joining me, and I wish you all a good night, a buenas noches, and oyasumi nasai.